The book of Jehovah, peace out. Heard his word. Presume, void to bloom, the epic room, creations boom, every tune, and the flames plume, a living room. If your soul need food, here's what you consume. The book of Jehovah, imagery song. Heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah, imagery song. Heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. Worlds are made, corporeal terrain, an atmosphere and chain to Ethereum planes, each of the pure, obscure domain. The ghost. Peace out, heard his word, and the world begun. Ocean one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah, symmetry sung. Heard his word, and the world begun. Ocean one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. Before the earth took shape, new sound of sight, the creator sliced the time in the day and night. He breathed through void till the ether stirred, then sent angels and prophets to teach his word. Motion, notion, devotion, alive. Encoded design in the spine of time. Wind wrote signs on the breath of the prime. S intertwined with the flesh of the line. Quicken the killer, conceiver entwined. Dual divine, the ether confined. Two entities birth, corporate S. Life compressed in the vortex nest. Spirit in the mist, physics resist. Matter persist in Jehovah's fist. Stiff flame, play became twist. Anatomy gift from the infinite list. Male and female named through air. EOE. That sacred blare, not beast, not star. Not anywhere but the whisper of wind as a builder's prayer. Vortex beat, the sequence hum, the light resume. From void to bloom, the epic room, creations boom, every tune, and the flames plume, a living room. If your soul need food, here's what you consume. The book of Jehovah, imagery song. Heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah, imagery song. Heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. Three states of worlds are made, corporeal terrain, an atmosphere and chain to Ethereum planes, each of the pure, obscure domain. The ghost of light, free the soul from shame. Atmosphere, field and flow. AGA, nebula glow. Currents collide where the comets go. Gravity bent with the vortices, so sound became law. Law gave sight, and every soul aligned in Jehovah's light. His love gave reason, and the heart resumed. If your body need rest, here's the text to consume. The book of Jehovah, symmetry song. Heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah, symmetry song. Heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. Before the clay inhaled the spark, the plan was great. See moose bum pulse through the dust of man. Either expand to where the blueprint ran. Spirit tied to flesh by jehovih's hand. Angels descended, intelligent, warm. Walk with Azu where the light was born. Heaven breathed in a mortal form. Lord met love and the veil was torn. The seed took root in the coil's perfume. Sense evolved under the sun and the moon. Time broke the sleep of a deep commune. And now man learns pattern from teeth to spoon. From breath to balance. The most high drop clues from speech and sequence. The spirit world moved from page to prophecy through mahogany hues. If your mind need peace, here's the key to consume. Look at your whole eyes. Word is word and the world begun. Devotions from Jehovah rings for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah. False clouds crack. And the prophecy grew. Jehovah's all strong like it always do. Pay attention, y'all. We in the book of the trumpet sound. The shadow of truth. False clouds crack. And the prophecy grew. Jehovah's all strong like it always do. Pay attention, y'all. We in the book of the crowns fell silent and the kings all died. Jehovah's son came forth with a lamp at his side, illuminating every cycle through a cosmic script. Who walked the path of light when the night got thick? Patterns came back around like a clock reset. A lesson for the ages you ain't seen yet. The covenant endured while the nations wept. Remnants kept the flame while the false ones slept. No soul abandoned, no heart left alone. The light freed man from the Game of Thrones. Prophets warned early how the dark would act. False lords fronted hard to the heavens collapsed. But the faithful held steady when the chaos grew. But they were branded by the mark of the Creator's truth. The prophets kept record of the things they'd seen and how the Father's voice had restored the dream. The trumpet sounded, shouted out. The false crowns cracked, the prophecy grew. Jehovah's all strong like it always do. Pay attention, y'all, we in the book of Sin. When the trumpet sounded, shouted out. Rode high on the serpent's spine, but in time they all fell with their tails entwined. Empires brag heavy on their golden stone till the cycle spun it back like a replay mode. Too long centuries of tears and strife, rise and decline, yo, the pulse of life. When the prophets got silent.
Yo, check 1 2 1 2, and I say, oh my people, hey, right back like I left some. Your hostess with the mostest, holding that fire like a roach clip. Your naga, your nerve fresh up off of that curb jelly, jamming preserve. Cosmonian right back up in this thing, man. Hey, they messing with my sound today. So I ain't even gonna hold y'all up. I'ma just get into the lesson. This is Jehovah Chronicles. This is the Jehovah Chronicles. Let me stop sharing this real quick. This is Jehovah Chronicles number 289. Mind, the universal substance. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out my boy Daryl Cosmo. And another OG who put the game down some years ago, and he was so ahead of the game, the people thought he was crazy. But come to find out through quantum physics and things like this brother was absolutely correct and is on point. What's so even more amazing is the book that we're going to get into today was written in 1926. 1926. You dig what I'm talking about? Y'all can hear good? Everything good, man? Everything good. Hit me with some vortexes. Hit me with some fire emojis. Let me know everything good, man. We just gonna get this thing popping off real fast. You dig what I'm saying? We ain't gonna hold it up too much longer. But gotta give it up to the OG Walter Russell. Man, he to not have read Owaspy and yet be so on point is astounding. It's utterly astounding. We're gonna get into a quick little breakdown. You dig what I'm talking about? Of the book we're gonna get into, right? The Universal One. And but I thought this would be beneficial to bring out first. And that is that mind, listen, mind is the one universal substance, right? Without further ado, let's get to cooking.
Have you ever sensed a hidden connection, a unity that transcends the boundaries of our senses, a realm where science and spirituality converge? This profound interconnectedness forms the essence of Walter Russell's masterpiece, The Universal One. This book, a testament to Russell's illuminated consciousness, invites us to explore the universe's hidden language, a language written in the elegant dance of energy and matter. The Universal One, first published in 1926, is not merely a book, but a portal to a deeper understanding of the cosmos. Walter Russell, a renowned artist, sculptor, and philosopher, was a man of extraordinary vision. Through years of deep meditation and scientific exploration, he claimed to have glimpsed the fundamental principles governing the universe. Russell's insights, though radical for his time, resonate deeply with modern discoveries in quantum physics and cosmology. Imagine the universal mind as an infinite ocean of pure potentiality. From this boundless source, all things emerge like waves arising from the depths. Every atom, every star, every thought and emotion originates from this unified field of consciousness. Just as an ocean wave is an inseparable part of the ocean, so too are we inseparable from the universal mind. This interconnectedness is not merely a philosophical concept, but a fundamental principle woven into the fabric of reality. Quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two particles remain connected even when separated by vast distances, provides compelling evidence for this interconnectedness. The behavior of one particle instantaneously influences the other, regardless of the physical separation. This interconnectedness extends beyond the realm of subatomic particles. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions too create ripples in the universal mind, influencing the world around us. Positive thoughts and actions generate harmonious ripples, while negative ones create discord. By understanding our connection to the universal mind, we become conscious creators of our reality. The universal mind is not a distant deity, but an immanent presence, accessible to us in every moment. By cultivating inner stillness through meditation, we can tap into this infinite wellspring of wisdom, creativity, and peace. In the silence of our being, we discover our true nature as expressions of the universal mind. Imagine a world without balance, a world where day stretches into an endless night, or where oceans evaporate under a scorching sun. Such a world, devoid of the delicate equilibrium we often take for granted, could not sustain life as we know it. Balance is not merely an ideal, it is the fundamental principle upon which the universe rests. Russell termed this principle the law of balance. He argued that the universe is in a constant state of rhythmic balanced interchange. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. For every inhale, an exhale. For every crest of a wave, a trough. This rhythmic interplay of opposing forces is what creates the dynamism and harmony of the cosmos. We see this principle reflected in the natural world around us. The delicate balance of ecosystems, the intricate dance of predator and prey, the rhythmic ebb and flow of tides, all are testaments to the law of balance. This law governs not just the physical world, but also the realms of human interaction and personal well-being. Just as nature seeks equilibrium, so too do our bodies, minds, and spirits thrive in a state of balance. When we live in alignment with the law of balance, we experience harmony within and without. We cultivate healthy boundaries, nurture our physical and emotional well-being, and contribute to a more balanced world. In the realm of geometry, the cube and sphere represent two fundamental forms, the static and the dynamic. The cube, with its straight lines and sharp angles, embodies stability and structure. The sphere, on the other hand, with its smooth curves and continuous flow, represents motion and change. According to Walter Russell, these two geometric archetypes hold the key to understanding the universe's fundamental building blocks. Russell proposed that all matter is ultimately composed of minute spherical vortices of energy. These vortices, spinning at incredible speeds, create the illusion of solidity. Imagine a spinning propeller, its blades moving so fast they appear as a solid disk. Similarly, the rapid vibrations of these energy vortices give rise to the perception of solid matter. The cube in Russell's model represents the equilibrium point around which these spherical vortices oscillate. It is the point of perfect balance, where the dynamic energy of the sphere momentarily comes to rest. This interplay between the dynamic sphere and the static cube, Russell argued, is the fundamental rhythm underlying all creation. The concept of a fundamental geometric structure underpinning reality finds resonance in modern physics. String theory, for example, proposes that the universe is composed of tiny vibrating strings, and the different vibrations of these strings give rise to the diverse particles and forces we observe. While the specifics of Russell's model may differ from current scientific theories, his fundamental insight into the geometric underpinnings of reality remains profoundly relevant. Light, the very essence of our perception, holds a central place in Walter Russell's cosmology. He viewed light not merely as an electromagnetic wave, but as the fundamental creative force in the universe. Light, in Russell's view, is the cosmic messenger, carrying information and energy throughout the cosmos. He proposed that the universe is awash in a vast ocean of light waves, each with its own unique frequency and vibratory rate. These waves, he argued, interact with each other, creating interference patterns that give rise to the diversity of form and phenomena we observe in the universe. Imagine a still pond. Now imagine dropping two pebbles into the pond, one after the other. The ripples created by each pebble will interact, creating a complex pattern of waves. Similarly, Russell envisioned the universe as a vast sea of interacting light waves, their intricate dance giving rise to the tapestry of creation. This concept of light as a fundamental creative force finds resonance in modern quantum field theory. According to this theory, the universe is not empty but filled with a sea of quantum fields, and particles are viewed as excitations or vibrations within these fields. Light in this context is seen as a manifestation of the electromagnetic field, one of the fundamental forces governing the universe. Walter Russell's ideas, though considered radical in his time, resonate surprisingly well with many modern scientific discoveries. His concept of the universal mind, for example, aligns with the idea of a unified field, a concept explored in modern physics as a way to explain the interconnectedness of all things. Similarly, Russell's law of balance finds echoes in the laws of thermodynamics, which describe the flow of energy and the tendency towards equilibrium in physical systems. His insights into the geometric underpinnings of reality prefigure ideas explored in string theory and quantum loop gravity, both of which seek to describe the universe at its most fundamental level. While there are certainly differences between Russell's specific models and current scientific theories, his work serves as a powerful reminder that the universe is a profoundly interconnected and harmonious whole. His emphasis on the unity of science and spirituality, on the interconnectedness of all things, and on the creative power of consciousness aligns with the emerging paradigm shift in science towards a more holistic and integrated understanding of the universe. The Universal One, therefore, is not just a book, but a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern science, inviting us to explore the mysteries of the cosmos with both our minds and our hearts. The insights offered by the Universal One are not merely theoretical, but profoundly practical. By understanding the principles of the universal mind and the law of balance, we can transform our lives and contribute to a more harmonious world. On a personal level, Russell's teachings encourage us to cultivate inner stillness and connect with the universal mind through meditation. This connection allows us to tap into our innate creativity, wisdom, and peace. We learn to observe our thoughts and emotions with greater awareness, choosing thoughts and actions that align with our highest aspirations. On a collective level, understanding the law of balance encourages us to seek solutions that promote harmony and sustainability. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, recognizing that our actions have far-reaching consequences. We move away from a mindset of scarcity and competition towards a paradigm of abundance and cooperation. By aligning ourselves with the principles outlined in the Universal One, we become conscious creators of our reality, contributing to a world where balance, harmony, and well-being prevail. The universe, as Walter Russell so eloquently articulated, is a symphony of interconnected forces, a grand tapestry woven from the threads of energy, matter, and consciousness. The Universal One serves as a timeless guide, helping us to decipher this intricate tapestry and recognize the profound unity that binds us all. By embracing the principles of the universal mind, the law of balance, and the dynamic interplay of energy and matter, we embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. We begin to see the world through new eyes, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things and our role as co-creators of our reality. As we move forward, let us carry with us the wisdom of the Universal One, embracing a unified vision of the universe, a vision that transcends the artificial boundaries we often erect between science and spirituality, between ourselves and the natural world. For in the words of Walter Russell himself, in the wave lies the secret of creation. Let us ride the waves of this understanding, creating a future where harmony, balance, and unity reign supreme.
1:30 in the morning.
Right. 1 second. We're going to play a little intro real quick, and we're going to jump right into the Universal One. A great read by Walter Russell. I think I'm just going to just end up reading this book. Read it some years ago and downloaded it again a few years ago. And I've been trying to, before I was ever going to bring out Walter Russell, anybody been watching me the last couple years, they've noticed every time I try to bring out Allan Kardec, for some reason I get a strike. Right? Don't matter where I'm if I'm reading this book, I don't even have to show anything about him per se. You dig what I'm saying, from somebody else's work or anything. Even if I just speak on Allan Kardec, I get a strike. See, Allan Kardec of the 1840s, 50s leads up all the way to men like Walter Russell. You know what I mean? With connecting scientific minds like Maxwell, like Hertz. You dig what I'm saying? Like Einstein, like Tesla. You dig what I'm saying? And some of the greatest thinking minds of the time, there is a line of light, a connection that is apparent between spirituality and physicality, or spirituality and science, right? They are, in a sense, the same thing, and there is no separation between the two. And the idea that there is a separation between spirituality and science is just more of a sign that you don't actually know what you're talking about or what's actually going on, because science and spirituality does the same exact thing, right? They are observing, right, the observable nature of a thing and trying to explain its unseen cause. That's the same thing spirituality does, and it's the same thing that science does. And for any silly mind who says you can't see spirituality, doesn't understand that spirituality is the science of self. So if you can't see yourself, well, you got bigger problems, right? Let's get into this. Let's play my joint real quick.
Jehovah is as near this day as in the time of the ancients. Put yourself in order, becoming one with him. And no book is so easily read as his created universe. Inspiration comes less by books than by what Jehovah wrote. His worlds read him and his works. Frame your speech and your thoughts for him. He will answer you in your own behavior and in the happiness of your soul. Great wisdom cannot be attained in a day, nor purity and strength to overcome temptation, till the growth is from the foundation. The fool will say, the sacred books are no more than man of his own knowledge could write. Yet he has not wisely imitated the power of the words of your God. Let him do this well, and behold, he will also declare my words are from me. Yes, he will recognize them wherever found. It is the will and wish of your God that all men become constitutionally capable of receiving and comprehending the highest life, and that they shall no longer depend upon any priest, church, oracle, holy book, or upon consulting the spirits, and that their behavior may make the earth a place of peace, with long life to all people, for the glory of Jehovah. To his Etherian gods and goddesses, Jehovah said, as you have founded arcs of light in my Etherian heavens, to determine the travel of my corporeal worlds, so shall my God of the earth inspire mortals to build lighthouses for man's ships that travel on the oceans, and those who travel in the ships. And those on the land shall know when a ship nears the port, even as you see my traveling earth approaching the place of Cosmos. For this shall be an illustration to mortals, that I have appointed cycles of times and dawns of times, with gods and goddesses to superintend my creations in tenderness and love, lest by chance man becomes despondent, saying, alas, Jehovah did not provide in wisdom commensurate with the magnificence of his creations. Behold, the time draws near when the nations of the earth shall course around the whole earth in ships, crossing the seas and oceans to all the places I created.
All right. All right. Let me blow this up a little bit. This is the Universal One, written by Walter Russell in 1926. I want y'all to pay attention. Huh? I want y'all to pay attention real quick. Why?
Wrote me a manual, a step-by-step booklet for you to get your game on track, not your wig pushed back.
You hear me? And let me show you how it link in. You dig what I'm talking about? Remember, all is one. Huh? They even push the idea that there is a law of one. But I'm going to tell you, nothing escapes the Creator. And he, it, she is the source of it all. Right? Let me show you. This thing hit like steel right off tops. This was written in 1926. Some 43 years after OSP. But right off tops, this is chapter 3. Mind, the universal substance. Right? Let's get into it. It says, mind is the universe. Huh? Mind is the universe. It is all that is, ever was, or ever will be. Wait a minute, Cosmon. Wait a minute. I got my hand raised. Wait a minute. It says in the very first sentence, mind is the universe or all. Right? And it says it is all that is, ever was, or ever shall be. If you are a faithist, this should sound very, very familiar. Why? Because chapter 1, verse 1, first sentence in the book of the Creator, the book of Jehovah, and the book of Yahweh, it says, all was, all is, all shall ever be. So right off the top, we got this brother Walter Russell, echoing the sentiments of the Creator. Mind is the universe. It is all that is, ever was, or ever will be. One more again. Book of Jehovah, 1 and 1. All was, all is, all shall ever be. I ain't make it up. Mind, listen, is a substance, a material substance. The substance of the mind is the foundation of creation. It is the seed of the universe. In the seed of the universe is the whole of the universe. The substance of the universal mind has no beginning, no ending, and no bounds. It is all intelligent. What is he describing? It is all intelligent, all powerful, and all present. These are attributes of an omnipotent, omnipowerful, omnipresent Creator. And first and foremost, all praise to the Great Spirit, the one that always was, is, and never shall be, huh? The true cloud kicker, huh? The Almighty, huh? The first, the last, the quickener, the mover, huh? The creator and destroyer, the great E-O-I, huh? Salute to the creator and salute to the creator gang and all those who stand by the creator, huh? Because it is, huh? Creator is all intelligent, all powerful, all present. Sound familiar? The one substance is absolutely frictionless, temperatureless, non-compressible, non-expandable, non-absorbent, non-reflective, non-resistant, and non-refractive. But potentially, huh? It contains the appearance of all these qualities through the dynamic action of those opposing forces within it, which cause it to be a thinking substance in motion. Listen, it's impossible to exist without motion. So even though we understand that the creator is all mind, right? And he is the creator, but he would have a function of creation that could be seen, huh? That function is motion. Motion upon a substance that is non-compressible, non-expandable, non-absorbent, non-reflected, non-resistant, non-refractive, but potentially it contains the appearance of all these qualities through the dynamic action of those opposing forces within it, which cause it to be a thinking substance in motion. These qualities belong to what? Motion. Exactly. And appear only through motion in opposition to what? They are not qualities which belong to one substance. They are appearances which disappear in the inertial plane of pressure equilibrium, which lies between any two masses. Hence, they have no existence other than as an appearance of existence. The cause of the appearance of change of one substance is through change of state. But change of state is not change of substance. Change of state is not an attribute of substance. It belongs to motion. So the difference between what? Solid, liquid, gaseous is motion. Huh? We can prove that by what? The atomic rate of a entity of anything, if heightened, it move faster. Huh? Makes it change state. Right? From basically ice to water to gas. Right? But there's a step past that called plasma. And there's a step past that called ether. Right? But either way, the water don't change. It changes state, of appearance, how it looks, how it interacts with the environment. It could be an ice block, it could be liquid, or it could be gaseous, right? But it's nonetheless H2O. It's nonetheless water at every state or change. But every state or change of the water is not an attribute of the water. It's an attribute that belongs to the motion. Remember, the accelerated atomic rate changes the state. So extra motion, more evaporation, less denser, colder. You dig what I'm talking about? That is dope. The substance of the mind is the one pre-chemical substance. The mind is pre-chemical substance, which is the source of all the elements. Let me read that again. The substance of mind is the one pre-chemical substance, which is the source of all the elements and the compounds of the elements, all of which are but appearances. These appearances register the action of the process of thinking and disappear back into their source of an absolute temperatureless state of motion and inertia. Ooh, that sounds like what ether does to corporeal material. It sublimates it, right? Making it transparent. And it's not till it's put in motion till you can see it. You can't see light till it's in motion. Right? So the fact that you can't have light without motion proves that light can't be the creator. The creator creates light. Why? Because he creates motion before that. And there is no energetic force whatsoever, nor is there life at all, right, without motion. Right? And the law of thermodynamics state all things are in motion. What puts all things in motion? There's only one thing that can. Mind. Well, actually, we're going to even go deeper. There's two things that can. Sound creates motion, but even sound must be thought. The material substance of mind is an all-pervading what? Ether. The material, wait a minute. This 1926. I can tell he ain't read Owaspy just by how his language is on, but he's on point. The material substance of mind is an all-pervading ether, which is indivisible, inseparable, indestructible, unalterable, unchangeable, but potentially it contains the appearance of all these dimensions of separability in the states of motion, which register the dynamic process of thinking. Let me see the words. Watch this: spirit and ether, right? The words spirit and ether are used to express the tenuity of the dimensionless universe, as solidity is used to express the compactness of the apparently measurable universe. Watch this. Hold on. I keep telling y'all, Owaspy be hitting like a ton of bricks. Hold on. Watch this. Let me go back up to let's go back up here. Right? It says, right? It is. Let me go back up. It is this substance, this all-pervading ether, is indivisible, inseparable, right? Indestructible, unalterable, unchangeable, but potentially it contains the appearance of all these dimensions of separability in the states of motion, which register the dynamic process of thinking. Basically, what he's telling y'all is that by the motion, what it's acting upon and where it's at, how fast it's moving, is the force. Why? Because ether, the same substance, sublimates corpor. Right? Ask yourself, what makes 2 parts of hydrogen linked to 1 part of oxygen? Why is it not just 1? Why is it not 3? Why is it not 4 that makes water? Huh? And what allows it to mix on Earth and in space? And why can't man just put 2 parts of hydrogen and 2 parts of oxygen in a tube and make water? Hmm? Let's see what it say. Let's see what the Owaspy say about this all-pervading ether. Right? Boom. Right? And not only is there area, right? But let's get into what it say about ether, the ethers. Right? First of all, it is the solvent of corpora. Right? As water is the solvent of salt, so is ether the solvent of corporeal substance, of which latter, the corporeal substance, hydrogen, right, is one of the most sublimated. This is why it's so much hydrogen on the periodic table. It's one of the most sublimated materials by what? Ether. This is the medium Maxwell was talking about, that all energy and its field passes through. As a corporeal man dwells on earth, and as a spirit man dwells in atmosphere, so do advanced angels dwell in the eth, or that dark space in between planets where y'all don't think nothing is. Y'all call it space. Higher raised angels and those of the know, right? Those in the know call it the ether. This is why they say it's the waters above and the waters below. it's not actually water, right? Because remember, it sublimates hydrogen also. It tears hydrogen apart from oxygen and puts the hydrogen over here and the oxygen over here. That's what allows that. But it's also the same force that allows it to mix together, through motion, right? Let's get back to Walter Russell. But Owaspy is on point. This is why we not necessarily stand by the book. We stand by the creator, right? But he is revealed in many ways through the book, right? And it's just about how you catch it and your ability to perceive light. Some people don't get it and some never will. Some just don't even read, or even if they can read, they don't read well. And on top of that, they don't comprehend well. I've been running into a lot of grown people who can't read, a lot of grown people who can't even read cursive. It's odd, right? Now, watch this. States of motion in opposition cause the appearance of change from state of motion in non-opposition or inertia into the appearance of separability into parts, like light from dark, right? Obviously, the photon was always there. It's not till it's moving till visible light can be seen, right? This is why visible light is physical and is called a physical phenomenon, because it is, in a sense, physical and non-physical. It interacts with physical material, right? Another way that you know that light can't be the creator, that it is created by motion. The whole electromagnetic field can't exist without motion. The electromagnetic radiation can't exist without motion. So the fact that your creator is being created disqualifies him from the possibility of being the creator, right? Because why? These are not the effect. These effects are not the change of substance, nor do they divide, alter, or separate the one substance of mind. They are but dimensions. All effects have the appearance of dimension. They are in themselves but dimensions of that which they appear to be. The cause of all effects is dimensionless. Cause is existent. Effect is an illusion of existence. It but appears to exist. Change of state appears to change the character of the one substance, like solid ice to water to gas. But in appearances have no existence, right? So really, there is no change. It's just the state of matter, which is really motion, right? But it's still, it's a misnomer to say change of matter, you dig what I'm saying, or change of substance, when there's actually no divide and it's only one substance and it just appears to change. It appears to go from solid to liquid to gaseous, but in fact, it's still just hydrogen and oxygen. See? This is what they're talking about, all one. Change of state appears to change the character of one substance, but appearances have no existence. Huh? So the iceberg is the ocean, is the sea, is the rain, is the clouds. Huh? They just appear, huh, in different characters of one substance, which at this point we're talking about is water, right? But in fact, did it change? No, the substance didn't change. Its appearance did. Man is accustomed to appearances. Two objects exactly similar appear dissimilar in perspective. This is a universe of appearances, all of which are relative, and none of which would have even the appearance of existence without the relations of others. Without the illusion of separability, space could not be. Without events, time could not be. Without motion and opposition, neither heat, cold, color, sex, mass, or any of the effects of thinking could be or appear to be. That is a massive statement. Let me read that again. Without motion and opposition, neither heat. So, motion and opposition, commonly called, in a sense, friction. Huh? Neither heat, listen to this, cold, color, heat produces sex. They're not talking about, hunching. They're talking about sex as in male and female. Huh. I wonder if you're a little colder, you have a girl. If you're a little hotter, you have a boy, or vice versa. I wonder which one it is. If y'all happen to know, or, you know what I mean, that would be dope to, just inquire about and see if you dig what I'm saying, that the heat produced by the mother and in the womb can go to show what sex the child will be. Without the variability of motion in opposition, there could be no appearance of variability in the chemistry of the one substance. Man's many elements are but variances in states of motion and opposition of the one unchanging substance, ether. They all appear to have separate and distinct, what does it say? Separate and distinct characteristics of their own in varying degrees, such as melting points, specific gravity, atomic weight, volume, ionization, stability, valence, electromagnetic charge, axial rotation, orbital revolution, and many other characteristics which give them the appearance of being separate and different substances. They are neither separately created individual things, nor are they different substances. Dang. Wait a minute. This remind me of something. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull this up real quick. Because he's saying this all one thing. Wait a minute. Hold on. Because I swear I've seen that somewhere before. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on one second. Let me go up here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. It says, watch this. Watch this, y'all. Watch this. I ain't making none of this up. Watch. It says, they all appear to have separate and distinct characteristics of their own in varying degrees, such as melting point, specific gravity, atomic weight, volume, ionization, stability, valence, electromagnetic charge, axial rotation, orbital revolution, and many other characteristics which give them the appearance of being separate and different substances. They are neither separately created individual things, nor are they different substances. Their appearance of separability and difference of substance is due solely to the periodicity of states in motion and opposition. Hold on. Watch me say the same exact thing. Watch this. First, look. Book of Cosmogony. 1 and 1. Watch this. The same principles apply to all the stars, suns, planets, moons. But why is it different? Just like what they said, but differing in manifestation or how it appears, on account of size, motion, density, and relative place. The same. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, y'all couldn't see that. My bad. Book of Cosmogony. 1 and 1, right? Let's go back. We're going to see that it says they are neither separately created individual things, nor are they different substances. The appearance of separability and difference of substances due solely to the periodicity of states of motion. Watch this. Why do they say the different forces differ in OWASP? First of all, it says the same principles apply everywhere to all. It say all. If somebody could show me what's on side of all, is there anything outside of all? So ain't no stars that weren't created in the same way that this planet and our star was created. The same principles apply to everything. And then he gave you a way to prove it. Remember, it's motion, but the key to it is spiraling vortexian motion that condenses the material sublimated in ether. Why? Because the same principle apply everywhere. But the only reason it differ or it seemed to appear different is on the manifestation of the account of the size, the motion, and the density of the material and the ether and the motion of the vortex and the size of the vortex and its density and where it is doing that. So yeah, you're gonna get when it made Mercury, it made it different than it made Venus. Earth is different than Mars. Mars is different from Saturn. Why? Because in different places, it created planets out of different substance at different times. A lot of people don't want to believe this or understand this, but planets like Saturn and Jupiter are way younger than the Earth. Yeah. Huh? The older a planet is, the longer its day will be. The younger it is, the faster it spins. But all the same principles apply to us on Earth, apply to what's going on in Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, right? But only on account of size, motion, density, and relative place. Huh? Same thing this man is saying. Crazy. It says, the universal substance of light is a material substance of variable motion. Didn't I tell you? You can't have light without motion, right? So to the Nagas, to the Naga niggas, you dig what I'm talking about? Who was trying to say creator is light? No, when creator creates light, right? This is proof against that false ideology. Because the universal substance of light is a material substance of variable what? Motion. This is why it always moves at the same speed. It can't slow up. It can't go faster. It's limited by its interaction. And what? Variable motion, which is due to the variability of opposition set up by the two apparently opposing forces of action and reaction, which constitute the thinking process. Hadouken. It is apparently shorn or torn into apparent particles of itself during the process of creative thinking, but actually it is unseparated and undivided in the process of that shearing or tearing. It is without form, but potentially it contains all that man calls form. Form is but an appearance, an effect of motion in opposition. Y'all know what he just said? He just said the vortex is the creative force. Form is an appearance, right? But an effect of motion in opposition in creation. That motion is called vortex, right? And the force itself is called vortexia, right? Hold on. Let me get down here real quick. Let me see. All right, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. All right. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Right. And to show you that it's this motion in opposition to corporeal material sublimated in ether, that is the vortex the creator goes on to describe in great detail in the book of the creator, right? It says, man looked up in prayer, desiring to know the way of all created things, both on earth and in heaven. And the creator answered him, saying, the what? The whirlwind I made as a sign to man of the way of my created worlds. Remember, it said that the same principles apply to all the sun, moons, and stars. The same principle that is applying to all suns and moons and stars is motion. And that motion is the whirlwind. It is spiraling vortexian energy. So when we get right back here, and it lets you know the form is but an appearance, an effect of motion in opposition, we just proved it, because the vortex is the creative is the creative force, or is the force creator uses to create, and is directly motion in opposition to ether or corpore. The greater the opposition of the two opposing forces, the greater the rigidity of form and mass, the more distinctive is its appearance of existence. All of those elements between the third gravitational, where am I at? And third radiational terms, the tones, the atomic structures of which are very much contracted in volume and represent motion in maximum opposition, are the hard, dense, heavy solids of great rigidity. Now, crazy. Hawaspi says also in creating in the early parts of creating a planet in the vortex, the heavier materials are brought to the middle, and because of the motion, it creates kinetic or potential kinetic energy and friction, and hence heat. So you would have the heaviest of the elements towards the center of the planet, the more rarefied towards our extremities of our atmosphere, and the periodic table proves that exactly. Such metals, for example, right, such as iron, copper, gold, silver, manganese, nickel, and all these things are super stupid abundant in the earth. Why? We know now, because they are the heavier materials and were rained to the planet and condensed to make the planet first. This is why they say we supposedly have a spinning iron core, or whatever the material is. It ain't gonna be solely iron, because there are things that are heavier than it, right? So such metals, for example, as iron, copper, gold, silver, manganese, nickel, and tungsten, the elements which form such compounds as granite, quartz, and flint, and those elements which form such precious stones as the diamond, ruby, and emerald. All these elements are made up of light units in maximum motion in opposition. Or, in other words, created by the vortex. They are very densely packed together in atomic construction, right? He's right about that, right? We know that about density now, right? And very closely integrated. There is but one cosmic substance. Watch this. He say, evolution is the concentrative desire of mind to create the idea of many substances out of the one. Right? That's evolution. He says, dissolution is the decentrative desire of mind to return that which it has created back into its source in the one. He says, this one substance appears to be divided into many substances known as the what? The elements of matter, or the periodic table. The one universal substance first divides, blah, 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 into the appearance of two opposites, one on either side. Okay. Then two, it appears as two more opposites of the one. And then three, more of increasing energy, harder crystals appear. Then the cosmic pendulum forms one more, which registers itself as neither one opposite nor the other, but is a bisexual element of maximum opposition in all periodicities of motion. These 7 apparently different substances, which are actually reflections of each other. That's crazy. He said these 7 different reflections are but different states of motion of the one substance, ether. They are the 7 tones of an octave, and there are 10 octaves of 7 tones each. What if he's wrong? What if there's 11 octaves? In the last 4 octaves are many midtones, each one registering its own state of motion. Man calls these various states of motion of the one substance by many names, and they appear to be many substances. The apparent differences between the many is due solely to the difference of motion and not to substance, just like the water. Many states of motion are possible, but there are not 2 substances in the universe. There is only one substance. There can be only one substance, as all states of motion are measurable and are under the absolute control of mind, and as man is mind, man may, with dawning knowledge of causes, change any one state of motion into another state of motion, and by so doing transmute any one of the substances into another. Facts. The granite rock may become gold or radium at the will of the man. This is understood as alchemy. A lot of people thought this was spookism and witchcraft, and it was just science that most people didn't understand. This is a chart tracing the source of man, supposedly many substances, back to the one, and which is what we would call today the periodic table. Their electric and magnetic orbs are in spirals of one plane and are very much extended. Their melting points are very high. A study of the charts will show this clearly. The less the opposition of the 2 opposing forces, the less the rigidity of form and mass. And the more distinct is its appearance of existence. This is the difference between ice and gas. Right? Okay. All of these elements, which born near the inertial planes of their octaves, indicate by their tonal position on their octave waves a close relation in motion and inertia and a lessening degree of opposition are the softer, less distinct substances. Let me go down here a little bit and see if he got the whole thing in there. All right, hold on, let me go down. Because it's only a little bit left in this chapter. All right. Watch this. This is crazy. Okay. Okay. Yep, this is where we at. All right. Their electric and magnetic orbits are in spirals of one plane and are very much extended. Their melting points are very high. A study of the charts will show this clearly. The less opposition of two opposing forces, the less the rigidity of form and mass, and more indistinct is its appearance of existence. All of those elements which born in the inertial planes of their octaves indicate by their tonal positions on their octave waves a close relation to the motion inertia and a lessening degree of opposition are the softer, less distinct substances or rarer substances. Okay. Such elements and compounds as lithium, bromine, sodium, chlorine, salt, sulfur, potassium, iodine, tellurium, magnesium, strontium, rubidium are formed of light units of less potential energy. The atomic structure of these elements is not closely integrated, but is open, nebulous, and very much expanded. Their electric and magnetic orbits are in spirals. What? You can't get away. You can't get away from the vortex. What did he say? He said, the whirlwind, spiraling vortexian motion I made is a sign to man of the way of my created worlds. As you see the whirlwind of the vortex, the spinning energy gathering up the dust of the earth and driving it together, know that likewise I bring together the semi-dark material in space, the dark material in space, and the rocks and the dust and the material, the corporeal part. Right? Not the gaseous part, not the liquid part. Right? The rock and the heavy, denser substances in the firmament of heaven. What firmament? Huh? Remember, it's a solution of this ether, and it's sublimated the material around it. This is why you can't see anything. This is why 31 Atlas glows. Why? Because it's spinning. Right? And its spin is going against the spinning nature of our solar system, which is produced by the sun and its vortex, its central vortex. Right? And the comet is moving around it, but in solution, causing friction, heat, all these things to be produced. Right? Said, by the power of the whirlwind, I create the sun, the moon, and the stars. By the same spinning force. Listen, all energy don't matter what it is, don't matter what force it is, it all spins. Huh? Let that sink in. You ever flushed the toilet before? Hmm? You ever started up your car? You ever boiled some water? Try it without a vortex. Huh? You ever lit a cigarette? A joint? Huh? Try to do that without spiraling vortexy in motion. Huh? Just to flick the lighter. Right? Let's go back to it. What the OG Walter Russell talking about. Let's see what he said. The atomic structure of these elements is not closely integrated, but nebulous and very much expanded. Their electric and magnetic orbits are in spirals, facts, of many planes approaching nebulosity in appearance as their position nears the inertial planes. Their melting points are very low. A study of the charts will show this clearly. Form, therefore, is not an attribute of one substance and has no existence other than as an appearance. Form, like time, space, mass, color, weight, temperature, and other effects of motion, is an attribute of motion only. Ooh. So it's an attribute of the creative force, motion, the vortex, all form, time, mass, color, weight, like they just showed you, sex, temperature, are all effects of motion. Even light is an effect of motion. And motion only, and in no way an attribute of substance. Bubbles whirling in the substance of water have form. True, this is called sonoluminescence. Sound creating motion. Their form is an attribute of their whirling motion, correct? And is not of the substance of water. When the motion ceases, form disappears, but the substance remains. Facts. Creation is merely a swing of the cosmic pendulum from inertia through energy and back into inertia forever and ever. It is but a series of opposing pulsations of action and reaction, integration, disintegration, gravitation and radiation, appearance and disappearance. Boy, this man is cooking. The one universal mind is a formless thinking substance. If the one substance were not a thinking substance, that which man calls creation would not have been. Interesting. Let me see what it says again. That which man calls God. This should be interesting. That which man calls God is an ecstatic thinking substance. Interesting. Thinking in continuity, thinking rhythmically, thinking with orderly variation of intensity in measurable impulses throughout endless ages in endless space. Interesting. That's a interesting view of his idea on man's take on God. Thinking is an action which is the cause of all motion. Try to move your body part without thinking. Try to say a word without thinking it. Oh, man. Thinking is an action which is the cause of all motion. That study, that ology is called spiritology. Huh? That study of that thinking self in you that you can't see, huh? It's called spiritual. Huh? The understanding of it in the corporeal sense is called science. Huh? There ain't no separating the two. Hmm? It is a process. Thinking is an action, which is the cause of all motion. Huh? It is a process, a purely mechanical process, periodic in its evolution through one cycle after another without end. The process of thinking leaves the evidence of that process behind it, registering the effect of its passage through the ocean of the universal mind. In its wake are myriads of rotating particles, rotating again, this spiraling vortexian force. We can't get away from motion. Creator says sound creates motion, creates force, creates substance. Huh? Sound creates motion, creates force, creates substance. The process of thinking leaves the evidence of that process behind it, registering the effects of its passage through the ocean of the universal mind. In its wake, myriads of rotating particles of the one substance which register the thinking of mind, just as in the wake of an ocean steamer are myriads of tiny rotating bubbles which register the passage of the steamer. The many bubbles in the wake of the steamer produce an effect of foam in the ocean's substance, which appears to be different from the surrounding substance, but it is the same substance, but of less stability. The whirling bubbles of foam owe their appearance to the stability to motion. The whirling bubbles of foam owe their appearance of stability to motion. When the motion ceases, the bubbles will disappear. Fact. Huh? The wake of a steamer is an appearance which we know will disappear. It has no stability. It has only appearance of stability. The bubbles are apparently separate individuals possessing form and motion, which are apparently their own, but which we know are not their own. Their appearance of separateness, we know, is but an illusion due to force and motion. When the churning effect of the propeller has been dissipated, foam, bubbles, wake, and all will disappear into the mighty ocean of creation. Let me just say, ocean of which they are part and from which they have never been separated. I just want to see this chart real quick. Creation is but a swing of the cosmic pendulum from inertia through energy and back again through inertia forever and ever. But it is a series. It is a series of opposing pulsations of action and reaction, integration, disintegration, gravitation, radiation, appearance, and disappearance. The law Positive. Oh, wait a minute. Positive electricity is force generated against pressure resistance. Positive intensity increases with contraction due to pressure resistance in streams flowing in opposite direction. Positive electricity is the cumulative absorbing end of endothermic, absorbing endothermic force of contraction, which seeks higher pressures. So this positive force, right? What is the positive force or electricity called? It's called male, right? It's called male. Remember, hold on. If that's true, that should be in the book of the Creator. He should say something that hints towards exactly what they saying about positive energy and why they call him male, because he would be electric, right? The Creator got to be male and female. Can't just be one, right? So we see that all was, all is, all shall ever be, and the all spoke. So sound was created, and motion was, is, and ever shall be. Are all things in motion? Yes. And what being positive was called he and him. Oh, wait a minute. Right? Let's go back right here. The positive electric is force generated against pressure resistance. The positive, right? The positive electric force is the male force in electricity. It's positive, it's male, right? Same reason why they call the Creator he and him, because in his positive electric state, he is in a hence going forth positive and male in a sense. Not like he got a penis, but as in energy. And watch this. All was, all is, all shall ever be, the all spake. The all spoke, right? The all, right? How many times do I got to prove? 1,000 times that the elements themselves make sounds, right? So when they're talking about the all, right, they're talking about all, not a man talking, huh? But look what it says right here. The all spoke, and the all spoke, or sound happened, and motion was. Remember, motion is doing what? Motion creates all energy, right? Motion was, is, and ever shall be. And being positive, because it was moving, they called it he and him. Same reason why they call positive electric force male, or he and him today. They call the magnetic force female, negative, receptive, opposite of positive. Same thing. Man, Walter Russell is just ahead of his time, right? The law, negative electricity is the force radiated in the direction of pressure assistance. Negative intensity, it decreases with expansion due to pressure resistance in streams flowing in the same direction. Negative electricity is dissipated, separating exothermic force of expansion, which seeks lower pressures. Infrared, violet, blue, green, yellow, orange. all the way around. It says this is the positive electricity flow against the stream. Look like what our planet looked like. The moon would be right here. Seeing this track where it's moving right here? The moon will be moving right here, right on the inside of this track. Virtually where you see it moving right there, but those ain't even necessarily moons. Right? This is a pressure resistance, right? This is moving to the right. The magnetic flow is moving to the left. Y'all see it moving? Right? At the 0 point, you got negation or inertia or gravity or mass. Huh? Why? Because the only reason they're different is in different in manifestation or appearance is on account of size, motion, density, and relative place and what it's acting upon. Yeah. This is your inward, outward, or your compaction and dissolution, your in and out, your fission and fusion of our solar system, the so-called give and take. All effects of motion are orderly and periodic. There's in and out. So breathing to this planet every 26 seconds, it even has a heartbeat. Look at top. The cosmic pendulum unfailingly records and adjusts all periodicities. Now, start right here. The passage of all thought through the tranquil ocean of the universal mind may well be likened unto the passage of big boats and little boats and all the winds of the heaven upon the tranquil oceans of waters. The passage of all these forces leave their effects in appearance on the ocean of waters, registering thereon in foams the idea of those forces. Without the exertion of those forces upon the tranquil waters, an absolute uniformity of appearance will prevail throughout the ocean of waters. Without the force of thinking throughout the tranquil substance of mind, there would be no appearance of variability whatsoever in the universe of mind. There would be no form. The distinct spiral, here we go. We can't get away from this spiraling energy. The distinct spiral nebula, right? Also, our own is spiraling, right? We ain't got to go look at Perseus, but if we want to go look at the nebula, Perseus Nebula, right? By all means, what he's saying is actually true. The nebula is spinning and it's spiral, and so is ours. Remember, all the same forces happen everywhere, right? The distinct spiral nebula of Perseus, which is really not distinct, or the trail of the Milky Way looming against the ocean of mind is exactly analogous to the foamy wake of a streamer as viewed from a great height. Both the wake of the streamer and the nebula of Perseus are appearances due to the passages of ponderous ideas. Excuse me. And both will disappear back into the substance of which they are part. The myriad whirling spheres of the nebula is integrating suns and solar system its planets and moons, its asteroids and meteorites are all whirling forms born of the churning propeller of the one mind thinking out this universe of ours. Because see, I'm starting to because I'm starting to understand our creation isn't created. It is not only created, it is creating now. It's never stopped. It's never stopped. Not even a little bit. Similarly, the whirling spheres of steamers wake with its big bubbles, its lesser bubbles, and its milky foam are a line of white against the deep blue sea, but not separate from the sea in substance. The temperature in the wake of the steamer is higher than that of the surrounding water. Similarly, the temperature of the spiral nebula is higher than that of the surrounding ether matter. Somebody knew something. Huh? How you know it was ether out there? Because of the remember Clark and them theorized it. Right? But remember, ether was on the periodic table at one time. Go look this up. Its periodic sign is ROR. ROR is the periodic sign for ether. And they took it out after Einstein. But see, that's disingenuous and it's short-sighted because Einstein only tells you, which I'm not debating the theory of relativity because it's a good way to explain how energy radiates from material. But you can't tell us how the energy got in the material. That's where your God, your ideology is lacking. And see, what you need to understand is when you come over here and deal with the faith, is we just on another level. Because you got E equals MC squared explaining how energy radiates from material, but you can't explain how it got in, right? And that's because you don't understand fusion, fission, vortexian force, right? The great spin. Huh? You don't understand how it works. You in your own way. Huh? The law governing both bubbles and nebula is the same. We just read that in Owash. Huh? The same principles apply to all sun, moon, stars. The difference between them is what? Relative in point of time, but also what? Manifestation of speed density in relative place. What? This line up two right. Both disappear when they cease to whirl, for their appearance of existence is due solely to the heat energy of motion. A bubble may whirl for a few moments in the sun for 100 billion years before the generated heat becomes radiated into their father and mother substance, which gave them birth. Notice that they said father, mother, he and him. They also call the magnetic or female or corporeal part of the creator, the seen part. You dig what I'm talking about? They call that part Om. Okay. And your boy, Heinzel Hertz, and Maxwell and all them was telling you about how this is measured. Huh? Why? Because they knew it was a medium, but science was trying to remove the ability to prove that there was a medium. When giant suns have radiated their heat to the absolute zero of the surrounding ether substance of mind, they cease all appearance of individual existence. Their forms have disappeared with the cessation of motion, but their substance is an eternal mind, is as eternal as mind is eternal. It says, in creation, all form is generated from the one source of thinking mind by a preponderance of the contractive pressures of the centripetal force of thinking. Didn't I just tell you about the centripetal force? Fusion, fission, huh? The great vortexian spin. Part of creation, decreation. All form is radiated back into the source. So yeah, you gave me E equals MC squared, right? But you ain't giving me M equals EC squared. You can't tell me how the energy got in the material. Huh? All form is radiated back into the one source of thinking mind by preponderance of the demonstrative, expansive pressures of the centrifugal forces of thinking, right? A centrifugal and centripetal are not the same. One is the spin at the axis, the other is the spin at the poles. One is a lesser force than the other, right? But it's the same force. Huh? The greater force is called vortexia. The lesser force is called invortexia, or the north and south, which is weaker, right? Is lesser than the force at the equator, and this is why the equator is hot all year, while the poles is cold. Because the most force is towards the equator. And we know that force is motion, and motion creates heat and light. Now, here is I wanted to show this. I didn't know it was in here, but yep, this is the right one. This is the periodic table using spiraling vortexian motion, how it will be used, sound and light, right, to prove materials that, you know, we would be predictive to even see before they was even there. Mind you, this man came up with all these things before they knew that they was all even there. Some of these he totally predicted to be there, but in his time they weren't there. Right? This is a picture of the periodic table, right? You know the little squares. Watch this. Let me show you. See this? How he laid it out like this? With the vortexian spin using the octaves. Higher the octave, right? The more rare, right? The rarer the material. Lipton, Victoron, Georgian, Blackton, Boston, Inertialine. You dig what I'm talking about? Omeganon. You dig what I'm talking about? They got this real rare stuff way at the higher octaves, or where the greater force is. You dig what I'm talking about? And that is just a fact of centripetal and centrifugal force, just like a bike tire. While your Vortexian force is weaker going north to south, which would be the pedals, your greater force would be east to south, east and west, and would be proved by the push or the force at the tire. It's just how a little bit of force can move you far on a bike, right? And I think we'll get into more of this later. You dig what I'm talking about? The universal one, that thing fire right there. You dig what I'm saying? Anybody got, I didn't even see. What happened? You dig what I'm saying? Oh, he said they hiding stuff. Yeah. You dig what I'm talking about? But that's what we here for, man. All things gonna be brought to the light. And the things that are in darkness will be brought to the light, and the things that are truthful in the light will be made everlasting. So, thank the creator. You dig what I'm talking about? And salute to the creator gang, man, and all those people doing that work. Hey, without further ado, man, we gonna go ahead and get up out this thing, man. Love, like, balance, man. Y'all support the channel, man. Hit that Cosmon Cal. Let me see if I got that up there. Hold on, I want to see. Hold on, one second. Man, y'all, it's not even letting me do nothing. This is crazy. This is crazy. I don't want to do all that. All right, man. Well, look, man. Y'all sub, like, share, man. Share the live out. Hope you got something good up out of it. Man, you dig what I'm saying? And we just gonna keep bringing the truth. You dig what I'm saying? They're gonna have to catch on, man. The brother Naeem Namir, and the enemy's public. Salute. You dig what I'm talking about? Salute that brother, man. He got a good, dope artist over there too, man. Y'all want to check out? Hey, you know what? Let me see something, man. Let me see if I got that up in here. I know I do. He got a dope artist called Mayday. You dig what I'm talking about? She be gassing a little bit. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of it. You dig what I'm saying? Let me see. I know I got that up here somewhere. All right. Hold on one second. Hold on. You don't want to play that one? Or hold on. All right. Hold on. We gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. But shout out to the brother Nasir You dig what I'm saying? And the Mayday, man, we gonna go ahead and show some love over there real quick. You dig what I'm saying? Let's rock out real quick with that Mayday, man. Hey, I only need y'all to do one thing. Really, you dig what I'm saying before we get up out of here? You dig what I'm saying? I only need y'all to do one thing. Shouldn't be that hard, really. And that is to breathe in and let that light in. Because I'm Cosma and I'm out. Let's get it poppin'.
The enemy is not going to let nobody put the black man and the black woman back together under no circumstance.
We need a message in this message. What I see today is an outrage. We went from gods and goddesses to a terrible mess. Took the beat from black like immoral correctness. We talk about kings and queens, but we act like pawns. Crowns on the ground while the system yawns. Acting like we got power when the cameras are on, but when the lights cut out, the camaraderie's gone. Chasing fame, chasing clout, and industry bags, while the youth is still on the block waving a flag. Brothers dying, mothers crying, truth neglected. We lost our way, our moral is disconnected. Nah, 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 nah. Used to be each one teach one, that was our creed. Now it's each one beat one over our greed. We mock the wise while uplifting the wrong, celebrating chaos while we silence the strong. Malcolm said, by any means necessary, not by any scene. We've traded our self-respect for a digital dream. Chasing fame, chasing clout, and industry bags, while the youth is still on the block waving a flag. Brothers dying, mothers crying, truths neglected. We lost our way, our moral is dis-
Question must be asked of the youth. Who are you?
Can I help you? Yeah, I came to reclaim my birthright.
Peace, this is Mayday. Hit a call, no play, they got the mic check. 1, 2, making sure the message stays straight. This ain't a game, this is closing the ranks. Let's give thanks to the ancestors standing firm upon these ancient riverbanks. A TEP production, yeah, you know the sound and the heat. Camaraderie is the currency, success is tasting so sweet. Who are we? Where are we? Are we where we need to be? Still rooted in the soil, indigenous, we never deflate. Closing the ranks, gotta unify the whole fam. Stronger together, that's the powerful battle plan. From the soil, from the land, yes, we're taking our stand. Unity's a bomb more potent than any quicksand. Well, closing the ranks, hear the rhythm, feel the vibration. Protect the culture, the mind, the future of the nation. We were born free, not enslaved. Understand the history, reclaim the narrative, break the chains of false history. Not said, make it plain, so the understanding is broad. Demons came with technology, their doctrines are flawed. Troublemakers of the earth, mental sodomies, the method, warmongering thieves. Where they step, everything shredded, the shedding of blood. They delight wherever they arrive, leaving massive voids, destroying everything that was alive. Reclassification scheme, a tactic to steal a terrain from aboriginal, indigenous to Negro, back and forth again. In 1 century, they tried to erase our foundation. From black to African American, confusion across the whole nation. But the wise men spoke truth, that shit in the deep stone. Our unity, one voice can never be overthrown. More powerful than atomic bomb, that's the calculation. Let's unite right now, fulfill the true spiritual obligations in the ranks. Gotta unify the whole fam, stronger together, that's the powerful battle plan. From the soil, from the land, yes, we're taking our stand. Unity's a bomb, more potent than any quicksand. Closing the ranks, hear the rhythm, feel the vibration. Protect the culture, the mind, the future of the nation. We were born free, not enslaved, understand the history. Reclaim the narrative, break the chains of false mystery. No more division, only precision, power in the vision. We rise as one, no ranks, close the mission complete. Da 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 da.
help you?
Yeah, I came to reclaim my birthright.
Fire. And all I need y'all to do is breathe in. Hold on. All I need you to do is breathe in, let that light in. CGG, man. You dig what I'm saying? Peace to the creator gang, and those who stand by the creator. You dig what I'm saying? Even a waspy tell you, we the remnants of the Algonquins, the only spiritual book in the world that does. We're going to go, next time we're going to go into the Aboriginal spirituality. It's ritualistic practices, what it's called, right? Everybody can tell you everything about how some European did something over here, or maybe it's a half nigga did this or something, but you can't tell me about your ancestors' spirituality. You can't even tell me your God's name. Did your ancestors even praise a God? Yeah, you can tell me all the history in the world, right? None of that matters, right? When your narrative is incorrect, right? You can't start in the wrong place, do all the right math, and still think you're going to end up in the right place. You're not. Just as lost is when you began, huh? There's something greater that comes with this realization. Something greater than God. Something greater than religion. And we're going to get into it next time, man. Love, light, balance, man. Peace. And we out, y'all. One.